Tottenham Hotspur convincingly beat Charlton Athletic 5-1 at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in the Carabao Cup last night, and Roberto De Zerbi had plenty to say about the character of the players and whether we're starting to see the real Tottenham game by game. The draw for the third round was also made last night, and Tottenham have been drawn against a very strong opposition away from home as well, and Roberto De Zerbi also gave his views on that. Here are some daily Tottenham news. Hi, my name is Orchy. Welcome back to the channel and another edition of Tottenham News, where I'll be going through all the latest Tottenham news, rumours and reports. If you're watching this on YouTube, please remember to like, share and comment. If you're watching this on an audio platform, please remember to follow and leave a review if you can. So after our convincing 5-1 win against Charlton last night, Roberto De Zerbi had plenty to say about the performance of the game. He said it was as good a reaction because in sport, in football, you can lose one game, but the day after you have to fight. You have to show your character, your mentality. I asked that to the players and I think we played well. We scored 5 goals. I'm sorry for the goal we conceded because to change mentality, we have to be angry if we concede a goal like this at the end of the game. It's very good news because Savio played 20 minutes. Pedro Porro and Mickey van der Ven were back on the pitch. Rodrigo Bentancur played a great game like Mateus Fernandes, Mikey Moore and other great performances. I think we have to keep the last 2 games in the right way. The first game has been important to understand where we made mistakes. In this game, we can keep in mind that is very important to play with me, the order on the pitch, the many passes and without taking any risk. In the last third, I think we have to try to find the best combinations, the best way to attack the space. Roberto De Zerbi was then asked on did he see more of the real Tottenham against Charlton, a bit closer to what he wants the final version to be. His response to that was, I think we have to see the real Tottenham game by game. We have to be consistent, we have to win games in a row, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like I said, yesterday in the press conference, I think we have to change the mentality inside of us. Speaking in the dressing room, our perspective has to change because we're working well, we have good players. Even in the last 2 seasons, we lost many games and we finished 17th position on the table. It doesn't matter for this season. This season is a new season. It's a different atmosphere, I think, I hope. Different players, different targets. I will push every day to keep the humility, to keep the eyes on the ball and not on other things. But anyway, we can't come to the training ground without ambitions. I want players ambitious to win many games in a row, to build the new mentality, to build a different mentality. Then I don't know when we arrive, what we will be able to achieve, we will see. But at the end, without the right mentality, we can't achieve anything for sure. And Roberto De Zerbi was asked his thoughts on being drawn away to Liverpool at Anfield. And his response to that was, great. It's a great game. If we want to win the competition, we want to win the games. Sometimes in this competition, it can happen to play already in the beginning of this competition against big teams. It's a great challenge for the players, for me, for our club. And we have to arrive at that game ready to play in our style, ready to play with personality, ready to play again, following the work we are doing on the training ground. So the draw for the third round of the Carabao Cup did take place last night, and we have been drawn away to Liverpool. After securing our place in the third round with a 5-1 win over Charlton at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on Wednesday evening, we will now face the Reds in the week commencing 14th of September at Anfield. So now for my views on all of those headlines. And I think after the Brentford game at the weekend, it was really important what type of performance we were going to put out there against Charlton last night. And of course, it was our first home game of the season and of the new season, and I think overall the players really gave a good account of themselves. The match did start nervy. I think the first sort of 20-30 minutes we looked nervy and Charlton did have a few chances. However, as the game went on, the players seemed to, settle. And I think it was kind of understandable. Again, the memories of, the Brentford game and also being in front of our own fans probably made the players a little nervous to begin with, but they did settle down eventually. And I have to say, it was a good performance. I was actually, again, worried about the starting 11 when I saw Mikey Moore and Archie Gray. And I have to say, again, credit where credit is due. I thought both of those players answered really, really well. I think, again, there were a few little things here and there, but overall I think both players gave a good performance last night, and Archie Gray, Mikey Moore especially, his goal was fantastic. He took his goal really well, a fantastic goal, and I think he made a good contribution overall to the game. In addition, Solanke also had a really good game. I think he took his goal really well. Bentancur, everyone, I think every player contributed last night, did well in their positions. Udogie, I think, had a strong game. Van Hecke had a good game. Obviously, at the weekend, he wasn't so good. He was criticised quite a bit. But again, all the players, I really felt that they raised their game in this match. But special praise has to go to, our new signing Savio, but I'll come to that in a second. But Matheus Fernandes, what a signing he is, showing to be already. In the Brentford game, in the second half, he and Bentancur came on and really, improved our performance there. But last night, he was at the centre of everything that we did. All the attacks, the passing, the vision. I thought he was the, man of the match until obviously Savio came on. And then made his contribution. But it is really exciting. I mean, to also consider that Roberto De Zerbi rested Tonali and Senesi as well, it says a lot. It shows the depth that we have in this squad this season, and we still have players to come back from injury, or players who are close to coming back, but just need to get their fitness up. Players like Kudus. It was also good to see Van de Ven and Porro also make an appearance. And again, they came on and slotted right into the team. Porro had some good chances. He was combining well on the right-hand side. So overall, a really, really positive performance. I know people are going to say, it was only Charlton and they changed a lot of their, first team. It was almost supposedly it was their second team. But it's fine. At the end of the day, you can only beat what's in front of you. It wasn't like a 2-1 or a 1-0 scraping through. I mean, we could have scored more goals, and it was a convincing 5-1 win. So for me, that's fine. And of course, we come to our debut guy, Savio. As soon as he came onto a roaring reception, and he really repaid those fans. What a start! What a debut! He looked brave. He looked full of confidence, and that's saying something considering, especially last season he hardly played. He only made a handful of, appearances off the bench. And supposedly he couldn't score goals, and, he's not good, and blah, 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 and all the stuff that was said by rival fans and media. But literally the moment he came on, he was electric. He was running at Charlton defenders. He was turning them inside out. He looked full of confidence, and he took his goal really, really well. And he also basically, we thought it was a second goal, but no, obviously he took a deflection from Davies, but still, that goal is down to him. So, one goal and an assist. What a way to start. And only 20 minutes on that pitch, 25 minutes on that pitch. What a start to his career, to his Tottenham career. Long may it continue. And obviously he's now giving Roberto De Zerbi the push to start him at the weekend against Newcastle. Moving on to Roberto De Zerbi's press conference after the match. And the things that really impressed me, as always, when he speaks, is his desire of, where he wants Tottenham to be. He sets targets. He has very clear objectives to achieve. I mean, I really liked what he said. For example, he was obviously asked about Savio, and he said, yes, great start, wonderful, but, he kind of brushed this. He said, he's one of the best wingers, but he said, all the best wingers in the world score goals, plenty of goals, and he's already setting him a target of 10 to 12 goals, but I've got a feeling privately he probably expects more from him, more than that even. So I really liked the way Roberto De Zerbi's approaches to the job at hand at Tottenham. He said that we have to be consistent, of course. We have to win 4, 5, 6, 7 games in a row. So it's quite clear, where he wants this team to get to, what sort of levels, what kind of performances that he wants the team to get to overall. And obviously he again reiterated the type of football, and where the players, how the players have to be, their mentality, their character. Even after a loss, how they respond, how they come back. So again, nothing but positives, nothing but, it gives me so much confidence for the upcoming games, even Newcastle at the weekend. And finally, the draw in the third round. I mean, come on, away to Liverpool. The football gods were not kind to us last night. But, look, what can you do? At the end of the day, you can meet these big teams, the Liverpools, the Chelseas, the Arsenals, later in the competition, or you can beat them now. What I will say is I don't think it's all doom and gloom, because obviously with the next round, the dates that it will be played on, it's going to coincide with the start of the Champions League games as well. So I believe there's going to be a chance where Iraola is probably going to rotate that team. So we might not see the strongest Liverpool side play against us week commencing the 14th of September. So I think we've got a chance. And until that time, it's in approximately 3 weeks from now. Obviously, we're going to have a few more games under our belt. The team is going to get better, I imagine. They're going to get used to playing more and more the way Roberto De Zerbi wants them to play. Chances are, obviously, we will have had Marmoush come into the team. Obviously, Savio would have got a few games under his belt as well. Potentially, Kudus should be back by then. So we should have quite a selection of players. And we should have, a really, really strong squad to face Liverpool in the third round. So I don't think it's all doom and gloom. It doesn't mean we're out of the cup yet. We have a game to play, and I think we're going to be strong come the Liverpool game in the Carabao Cup. I think there's going to be a very strong team and a bit more experienced team under De Zerbi. So yeah, I have good expectations. Well, that's all from me for today. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for listening. And let me know in the comments below, what are your thoughts from the game last night? What were the positives for you? And what did you think of, obviously, Savio? What kind of player do you think he's going to be? And of course, there's only a limited number of days left of the transfer window. What other players would you like Tottenham to go for and for us to sign? And also, what are your thoughts on the draw, on the third round draw, our away game against Liverpool? What are your expectations? Do you think we have a chance of winning that game? Anfield is a difficult, has always been a difficult ground for us in the past. So let me know what your thoughts are. And as always, come on you Spurs.